I had an incredible spiritual download last night, and I have changed my mind about the election. And before you say, "What the fuck did you just say?" let me explain myself. I have been in this weird place since election. In fact, the morning after election, so Wednesday morning between 3 to 4 a.m., I was jolted awake like somebody pushed me, and this a physical energy like went through me, and I could not explain what that feeling was like. And next morning when I woke up, I told my husband I felt like I got pushed in a timeline that I'm not supposed to be in. Since then and for the rest of the week, I've been feeling very off, like I'm straddling this invisible line. I've been feeling very unstable, both mentally and physically. And later, when I went on TikTok, and I found a lot of women saying they had experienced the same phenomenon. Yesterday was particularly hard for me. I could not get myself out of this funk. And so Seibo sent me a video to watch on YouTube, and I was just kind of half watching it and half still stressing the fuck out. And at one point, this lady said something that really resonated and it instantly snapped me out of this funk. And later that night, I had this very strong messaging and download from my spiritual guy who actually turned out to be my higher self. And this is point of video where I'm gonna start becoming a little bit more woo-woo. So if you are not at all open to the ideas of different timelines and our souls having a mission on this planet, on this timeline right now, and you're going to be disrespectful, then I wish you a wonderful day, but this video is not for you. But if you are at all open to any of these ideas, let me explain what my download was. So in this video I watched last night, she said that we are all of our souls on this planet, this timeline right now, we're brought here to move our humanity forward, to move our souls forward. And to do this, we are going to come to a point where everything comes together. We have to choose a path, and that's where we are right now. So she says that think about it as all the timelines are converging on yourself. Think of it like a ball, and it's just pressing into yourself until it's ready to combust. And I think this is why all of us have been feeling like we're living in the twilight zone. Like, we are talking to each other, but we are not sharing the same realities. We can't seem to understand each other. Everything seems sort of upside down. And this is why it's because all this chaos is all these timelines coming together. And if we feel like we can't even talk to our family, our friends, because we're living in different realities, it's because we are literally going in and out different realities. This is why I've been feeling so off. This is why so many women, so many people out there have been saying they feel so off. We can feel the tension in the air. The tension feels so thick, I feel like I can cut it with a knife. And this tension is the timelines about to combust. And she said when the timeline does combust, it's going to become two main timelines. One is going to, for those of us that are willing to work together to really move humanity forward, we're going to go into the route where she ultimately calls it Eden. I don't know what to call it, but it's a world where we are going to come together and build together. And then the other path is the world that's going to lead to World War III, everything that we fear. So think of one as hope and one as fear. And which timeline that we individually, each of us, end on will depend from now on what we stand behind, what's in our mind, what's in our hearts. And we need to keep our eye on the prize. And even when things get really dark, we still have to be there to show the best parts of humanity. Since election, I have been reading a lot, doing a lot of research, talking to some people. My husband has talked to a lot more, and he will tell me what he's learned from talking to different people. And from my everyday experiences since the election and before the election, I feel like, yes, we hear a lot of very loud people who are very far right, who are very far left, but I feel like most people we meet in real life, for the most majority of us, regardless if you vote left or right, we're all pretty reasonable. We all sort of at the core, we all want the same thing. And that's from talking to people now. I still feel the same. At the end of the day, we want to live in a place where we get paid fairly so that we can put food on the table and shelter and not be stressed out all the time. We want our government to work for us instead of working for the big corporation. We want peace. We want to send our kids to school without being afraid. All of these things we can agree on. And I remember growing up in the 90s, there were differences between the two parties, but we were used to be able to talk to each other and work together, and we have lost that. And we need to regain the trust in humanity and be able to talk to each other. So Since the election, after all that research, here's the two main things I found. Number one is there is incredible amount of disinformation on both sides. So we cannot point to the right and say, hey, you guys have all of these propaganda, so do we. I've been reading a lot of articles, double checking every single fact I read that I find disturbing or finds very weird or interesting. And there's misinformation on both sides. And the second part is, again, like what I said, we all want the same thing. And I'm actually going to list out these things I think we all want. And if we can all agree that at our core, these are things we want, then I'm going to tell you the rest of the messages I got and how we can move forward to achieve all of these things. Okay, so I have my list here. Okay, we want a safe place to live and be able to send our kids to school with a peace of mind. Being paid fairly for our work so we can all put food on the table and provide shelter for our families comfortably. And I'm not saying we all have to be millionaires, but we shouldn't have anxieties of going hungry when we live in a first world country. If we get sick, we don't go bankrupt paying for medical bills. I think that's basic human right. Okay? Our kids can go to college without starting their career under a mountain of debt. Young adults can afford to buy a home and plan for their future. Any taxes we pay is used to help our country instead of being sent to fund wars in other countries. And then when I say we, I mean everybody in this country, regardless of race, gender preferences, or economic status. I think these are all basic human rights. We should all be afforded in first world countries. We have seen other first world countries achieve this. There's no reason why the most powerful country in the world cannot achieve this ourselves. Now, if we can all agree with that, let me share the rest of the message I got from my higher self or my spirit guide, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of this I will be saying I because it's a message that she gave to me, but she also wanted me to share with everyone else out there as well. As you know, usually on Thursdays, I put out a lifestyle preview video. That's probably going to be tomorrow because she's urging me that this is something I had to do today. So I'm doing this today, even though I only slept from 4 to 5 in the morning or 5 to 6 in the morning because I've been up all night getting these downloads. About half a year ago, okay, my sister-in-law bought me a human design course session with this lady. And this lady looked at my human design and told me my sole purpose on this timeline is to experience joy. And I did not resonate with that at all. I'm like, what? Like that felt like came out nowhere and I did not understand it. And then last night, as I was trying to go to sleep, my higher self came down talking to me and I hear voices in my head all the time since I was a kid. This voice in particular has only came to me a few times in my life, and it's usually at a pivotal turning point in my life. And she actually said, hey, I know you do not resonate with this brain joy, but this is why. Your life purpose is not to come here and just experience joy all the time, right? If living through joyful times, you will be joyful. That is easy. That's not a lesson you have to learn. What my purpose, my life, my sole purpose here is to experience joy in the toughest times and share joy and bring joy in the toughest times. Because in my past life, I have lived a lot of trauma. I've been executed, I've been beaten, I've been spit on, I've been lied to, I have failed people that I care about. So I brought a lot of fear into this world when I was born. My entire life, I have felt fearful. And my soul journey is overcome that fear and believe in humanity again and experience the joy that I want and share that joy that I experience with others and hopefully bring more joy into the world. I know people are scared right now. I share that same sentiment as we watch closely to the people that are getting nominated for cabinets in Trump's administration. And for those of us that do not believe the same values or do not agree with the same values, it can be scary, especially the marginalized group in this country. I understand that 100%. But I think we, as a people, need to start to come together. If you look at how our society has progressed in the past decade or more than a decade, we have been divided more than ever. I think we all know by now that major media, mainstream media, as well as social media, has been bought up by all the big corporations, by the billionaires. We see a lot of propaganda. Half the time, we don't know what's true and what's not true, especially with AI. So, right now is a time for us to start pushing that aside and thinking about what it is that we want. We talk a lot about manifestation, but what is truly manifestation? Manifestation is not that you sit there and you think, I want a diamond ring, and next day you're going to get a diamond ring. No, manifestation is about how you feel on the inside, what you're projecting to the world. So right now, we are all in a very fearful place, including myself previous to today, right? I was in a very fearful place. All I was thinking about is what I do not want. Now, the universe is not good or bad. The universe is here to see what the collective energies is, and then they're going to give you that energy. So if you continue to say, this is not what we want, this is not what we want, and only focus on negative, this is what the universe is going to serve us. We as a whole collective need to start thinking about what it is that we want. If we can all agree at our core, these are things I want, like the things I just listed, these are things we want to live as a society, then we can build from that. We can tear apart all the disagreements. We can disagree on how we get there. But if we decide this is what we want, we can work together and say, how do we get there in a peaceful way where we can compromise and benefit both sides? And this is where we have to be able to talk to each other. I feel like we can't talk to each other anymore. Even me making this video, I'm nervous. I'm like, what if I miss something? And then they're going to say, oh, you missed this. Whereas I just want us to focus on how do we be better people, better neighbors, better families. I see so many families talking about how, or so many people talking about how I lost family members or friends because of this election. Is it really worth it though? Because if you really love someone, that love should be unshakable. I told my friends that I truly loved, I have known for years and decades. I tell them, no matter how you voted, I love you, I have you back. Because I know deep down in your core, you're not a bad person. And you know deep down, you have seen the worst side of me, and you still accept me as your friend. And that's what love and that's what exchange of friendship and family should be. We should not let these external things divide us. And many times, if you talk to that person, you realize it's this misinformation that's dividing us. I'm hearing one side of the story, you're hearing a different side of the story. I'm hearing one lie, you're hearing another lie. And we are so indoctrinated into both sides. I'm calling cults now because you're in a cult when you cannot open your mind to anything else. And we must change that mindset. I see so many people on internet celebrating when they see, oh, this person who voted for Trump, now her family won't talk to her. Ha ha ha, you deserve that. What? But why we want to celebrate pain? Because if we celebrate pain, we're telling the universe we want more pain. This is what brings us joy. That's the energy we do not want. So let's stop this celebrating each other's pain and saying, I cannot wait to say I told you so. I don't fucking want to say I told you so. If I say I told you so, everything, we're going to World War III. I don't want that. You don't want that. That's on no one's card unless you're a fucking psychopath. And I'm not talking to psychopaths. I'm talking to all the common people, all the working people who just want to provide for their children. So as we go into Thanksgiving and we go into the holiday season, I think this is a great opportunity for us to put away our prides. Put aside your pride, humble yourself, be more compassionate and empathetic. Talk to your family members, talk to your friends, and say, hey, you know what? Let's agree on the basic things, right? Let's agree this is what we want. Now let's talk about what your frustrations are. I will sit here and listen until you're done talking. I will not interject. I will listen, truly listen. And then when you're done talking, now please give me the chance to talk. Say my side, you truly listen. And let's be a family again. Let's be neighbors again. Let's become a community again. Because if you're like me, if you believe in the shadow government, or you believe the government is trying to control us so they can profit off us, which I feel like both sides can agree on that. We don't trust the government right now, right? This is how we ended up here. If we can all both agree on that, we need to be united. Because this does not mean, or does not matter who is in the office. If their goal is to control us, the best way to do that is to divide us. Because we are tired from working, right? They're working the shit out of us. We are fucking tired, okay? And we are frustrated and we are mad. And now we're taking out all that energy on each other. So we are focused on things attacking each other instead of saying who is the real problem here. And the real problem is not us. We are the working people of this country. One last thing I will say that, I love the United States. I love this country because I think this country is so unique. Every country out there is homogenous. And it is easier, I think, to rule a country when everybody looks the same and they think the same and they have the same culture. But what's unique about the United States that we are truly melting pot. We have people from all over the world that bring their cultures, their ideas, And instead of us saying, I'm better than you, you're better than me, why don't we sit down and say, hey, this is what I love about my culture. This is the best part of my culture. What is the best part of your culture? Can we come together and combine them and build what truly America could be? We are the most powerful country in the world. We're losing that status, but we can be, because what happens in US affects the rest of the world. So if we, the American people, can swallow our pride, can put the priorities on ourselves, on our children, on the future that we want, and come together, we can be the example of the world. If we can fix this country, and in return fix the world and move us into the right timeline that we want to be. Okay, I'm sorry that this video is so long. I am very energetic right now. I'm very passionate, and I have not had such a strong download since 2020. That's when I had the spiritual awakening. And truly, it is through chaos and through when we feel like we hit the lowest point in our life that the guides come through if you're open to it. Sorry, I had to move because it started raining. But if any of this message resonate with you, my spirit guide was very insistent that I share this ASAP, which is I'm putting up work to get this message out to you. So if it resonates with you at all, I urge you to please share this message. You don't have to share this video because this is a long ass video. No one needs to hear me ramble for that long. But you can certainly put this into your own words and talk to your circle of friends and family. Share this message so that we can all come together and go to the right timeline, because I'm not trying to end up in World War III, and I want you to come with me, at least all the same people. Okay, I love you all. I hope you have a great day. Get outside and get some fresh air if you haven't. Go say hi to your neighbor, hug someone today, even if it's just yourself. All right, I love you all. My channel will continue to be a safe space no matter who you voted on. I really want us to work together and come together as the people that can fight back if we see things happen that we decide is unjust. Okay, that's all we can do now. So let's do the best we can. Love you all. Bye.